So here is the 5-step sales process that I recommend for remodelers, and a lot of my clients have recommended to me as well. So this is something that's been developed over the past 20 years, not just coming off the wall here, but this is a sales process that has led to hundreds of millions of dollars in remodeling sales. So we have 5 steps. So it's pretty simple, but we will begin with a phone qualification. That's where we're at right now. So we got an online lead. We scheduled an appointment. Now we are going to call that lead on the phone. We're going to have approximately a 10-minute phone conversation. So that's step 1. We'll get into more of the details for it here in just a second. Now, if that lead is viable, then we're going to go out and take a look at their house. If the house visit goes well, or the site visit goes well, we will then move into a feasibility study. And this is where the pay to play comes in. This is where you as a remodeler will be collecting a fee to actually put together a feasibility study, which is simply just a preliminary scope of work with a preliminary budget. From there, we'll go to a proposal preparation agreement, and if needed, a design agreement. These are really 2 separate things, not one. So a separate fee and a separate contract for each one of those. And then finally, the construction contract. So Diana, any thoughts on this here before we take a look at some of these sample questions?
Sounds very complex. So it should be very easy to implement, right?
Well, it should be. It is easy to implement. And, the complex part about it is when you're not prepared.
Right. Yes.
So if you are prepared, it's quite simple. Once you get a process down, you understand why you're doing that process and what the ultimate goal is, which is to find out, is this lead a good fit? So that's really where we're going to start, is getting on the phone call today, trying to learn as much about their project as possible. What we're looking for, what I call the 4 Ps. So is it the right project? Is it the right place? Meaning, is it in my service area? Is it the right price as far as the project, the scope and the size of the project? And then finally, the 4th P is it the right personality? I'm looking for red flags here. Remember, the whole idea is we want to be able to say no when we have the wrong project, the wrong price, the wrong place, or the wrong personality. So that's the whole point of developing a client acquisition system, is to say no when it just doesn't work out right. And hopefully that will save us a lot of headaches and emotional baggage as we get down the road for some of these projects that we shouldn't be taking on. So what do you say? Should we take a look at the sample phone qualification and questions?
Yes, I'm so curious about it.
Yeah, well, you are going to be my assistant here today. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen. We're going to take a look at really a sample list of questions that I put together. And I put together a little role play here ahead of time. Diana will be you will be my guest or my lead. I will be the salesperson. And this is just a little bit of upfront conversation to lead us into more the Q&A facet of this. So the important thing to remember as the remodeler when you're asking these questions is that you want your lead to be doing the majority of the talking. So as you walk through this script, you're going to see some things here that say L61, L62, so on and so forth. This is something in sales called the law of 6. I'm going to ask some closed-ended questions to elicit a yes from Diana. Diana, the more times that you say yes, the more you will open up to sharing. I'm going to ask you some specific questions here related to your budget. And a lot of times people do not want to give us a budget, or they'll say something like, hey, I was hoping you would tell me. So you as the remodeler, you will be giving them some budget, but you first and foremost want to find out what do they have in mind. And we'll walk through how you go about that here in the second part of this. So to start off with, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to greet Diana here and we'll walk through this.
Okay.
So hello, I'm Rick from Builder Lead Converter.
Hi, hello.
Hi, and your name is?
Hi, my name is Jane, or you can call me Diana. My friends call me Diana.
I'll call you Diana. It's a pleasure to meet you, Diana. What a beautiful day today, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I can hear some birds here around me, so it is.
I love it. Spring is coming.
Yes.
But it sounds like you're looking for information about home remodeling today. Is that right?
Yes, we are.
Well, great. I'll be happy to share some ideas and get you the information you're looking for. So, Diana, do you have about 10 minutes to talk about your project today?
Yes, I have actually.
Well, great. Well, in that amount of time, I'd like to learn as much as I can about your current situation, your current project. Would it be all right if I ask you a few questions to help me do just that?
Sure.
Okay, so what I got her to say, I got you to say yes 4 times in that brief interaction there.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, yes. And so now what I've done is I've used a technique called Socratic questioning. I've used the law of 6 to get you to open up and say yes. So now I'm going to get into the nitty gritty of the questions right here. So the first thing I will do is I will confirm contact information if I don't already have it. So I'm not going to go through these questions specifically, but I'm going to make sure I have the spelling of your name correctly. If you were a phone lead or a referral lead, make sure I get your phone number, have a home phone or just a cell phone. I want to find out how you heard about us. That's very, very important, is to find that out up front. Because if you were a referral, then I want to find out again who did refer you. And I want to make sure I reach out to that person, thank them, and that person might give me a little bit more background on you as well. Hey, it's a coworker of mine. It's a neighbor of mine. It's a relative of mine. It's somebody I met at church. Whatever it is, but get a little bit more background on you. Then we're going to move into the project information here. So I'm going to focus on what is the type of project you're considering. Okay, so I'm going to start there, because if the project is not something that we provide, I'm going to end the conversation right here immediately. So this might be a 3-minute conversation. Assuming that the project is something that we do, and I'm going to ask, well, how many people will be enjoying your remodeled space? Here I want to find out decision makers. How many decision makers are there? Are there children? If there are children, how old are the children? For older children, if you are doing a remodeling project, they will have some input. But more importantly, if there's another decision maker here that I'm not aware of, I want to make sure I get their name. So if you have a husband, if you have a wife, whoever else will be making the ultimate decision, I want to make sure I get their name. And also, if they are a good fit, I want to make sure that they will be at the site visit. The thing I want to do is come out to the house and only have you there, Diana, if there's another decision maker. Have you remodeled before? Big one, big question. This will tie into, as we get into more of that site visit, the questions we ask there. I want to know, have you had any experience with this? And also, if you're considering other remodelers, who are they? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ask you that, Diana. So who else besides ABC Remodeling are you considering going with? Sometimes people will tell you. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, I'd rather not say. But either way, you want to know if you have competition, and if possible, who are your competition. Remember, when we're speaking about our competition, we never want to talk down about them, but we want to clearly differentiate ourselves from our competition. Have you thought about your investment amount? Financing source, okay? Is this something that will you be taking out a loan for this? Do you have cash on hand? Will you be borrowing against equity in your home? I need to use those sorts of things. Now, what I've done here is if they say, in this case, that they want to remodel a kitchen or a bathroom, or do an addition, or perhaps finish a basement, if you have basements in your particular market area. They want to do a sunroom or a porch, or whatever other projects they have that you offer. You want to have sort of a low to high for this. Now, I made a note here, used Hanley Wood cost versus value report to fill in low versus high amounts. I always recommend that not you come up with the information, but you use a third-party source like Hanley Wood. So every year, Hanley Wood tracks remodeling costs from around the United States, and they will give you more of an entry-level type price, a mid-range, and a high-end price. So in other words, if the kitchen, Hanley Wood says, well, kitchens in your area start at $50,000 and they go up to $200,000. That's the same range that you will give your lead. So Diana, you mentioned you wanted to remodel your kitchens. According to Hanley Wood, which is a third-party provider of remodeling data in the wherever your location area is, remodel kitchens range from $50,000 to $200,000. Does that fit into your investment range? And I'm going to stop, because if Diana says, "Oh, well, my budget's $15,000," I would say, "Okay, Diana, does that does not work to remodel a kitchen. Are you able to increase your budget to get to at least $50,000?" If she says no, 15,000 is our max, end of call, we're done. And we move forward. However, if she does say yes, $50,000 to $200,000, would fit in. She might say, we want to be closer to 75,000 versus 50,000. She might give that information. You have to set the parameters, and then you ask her, does it fit your parameters? Because if I just say, Diana, how much do you want to invest in your kitchen? She's going to think, well, geez, I want a $200,000 kitchen and I want to pay $15,000 for it. So I have to give you the parameters, because we'd all would like a $200,000 kitchen for $15,000, right?